Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. In this video, we're going to talk about the power of 3, 6, and 9. Okay, now this has been a fantastic realization. Of course, I've had information based on what 3, 6, and 9 stand for, what it represents. And a big thing here at Truly Holistic, that's what we're all about, right? It's all about having a greater sense of knowing, understanding, insight into what things are, what the representation of the things that we observe, that we experience, especially the things that we experience and observe day to day. I always say that we live in a world currently that has infinite sources of information, and mainly thanks to the internet in regards to providing that. But what we generally observe and experience in the collective, in humanity as a whole, is that has not provided greater insight. It's just provided more chaos and conflict within that person, even though there are infinite sources of information. Yeah, which one's right? Which one's not? Which one is incorrect? Which one works for me? Which one doesn't? And we like to really emphasize that when it comes to conflict, that internal conflict that each individual is having, our focus, and mainly when it comes to conflict, is our conflict with others, our conflict in what we observe and experience in the outside world, which are merely projections of an internal struggle, conflict within people, within humans. Okay? And that's where it starts from. So therefore, the remedy of the conflict that we experience outside of us has to happen from within first. Okay, so, and what we've come to find is that the origin of everything happens from within us. Okay, for example, a tree. A tree is a symbol of levity. Okay, it starts from a seed, right, in the soil, which starts to give off its little feelers into the soil, right, which are roots, and it can grow up from that point onwards, right, into a stem or a trunk, and then branch off, right, other branches, and then the leaves, the flower, right, which is the expression of that plant, that tree. Okay, so it's not this whole idea that our looking for or seeking or mind orientating, which is the seek and search outside of us for the origins, and that they are going to be above our heads. They are not. Our origins lie within, okay? The tree, that symbol of the tree shows that. Everything shows that. So why I'm mentioning this is this aspect that, at Truly Holistic, we've got a map, which we call the Ascension Map, which is based on the symbology of a tree. Okay, we just call it the cosmic tree. There's certain ancient peoples that use that, right? Like for the Yggdrasil tree, okay, in regards to Nordic, history or mythology, the way you want to look at that. And so when we are going to be talking about 369, it's going to be connected to that, right? There's a lot of weight. There's a lot of insight to 3, 6, and 9, which, as I say, that origin, that insight, is not going to be found outside, but within. Okay? So keep that in your awareness as we move forward talking about them. So let's start with 3. Now, for anybody that's had session work with me, again, all these videos that we do here at Truly Holistic, it's not just about throwing it out there in one medium, one format, like on YouTube. All this information is incorporated into the charts, into the sessions, into the energy products and tools that we make. The healing systems that empower you to become the healer for yourself, your family, your community. Okay, so there's a lot of evidence-based to this because we're working with people. People getting these tools and they're getting better. They're providing further insight into their life. They're remedying health problems for themselves. They're becoming more empowered, more enlightened, and that's a huge approach and a priority we have at Truly Holistic, is that aspect to become empowered and enlightened, because you draw your light, your expansion, your true authenticity, your true identity as an infinite consciousness to be represented here, which comes from within. Okay? So, when we start with 3, and as I say, a lot of people that have done session work with me will understand that we work a lot on their place of attention. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is, what health problem they are bringing forth to that session as a focus for that session to work on, their place of attention will always come up. Okay? And we're going to explain why here. Now, why that is because there's a common saying, where attention goes, energy flows. Okay. Now, I'm just going to slightly adjust that to give a bit of clarity to that expression, right? Where attention goes, your energy flows to. Okay, so it's an investment. Where you place your attention, you are directing or investing your energy into something to create something or to feed something so it remains part of your reality. Okay, which means it will stay there. Now, when people come to me to remedy health problems, you can see what a paradox there is, right? Because their body is presenting symptoms, which is expressions, communication of the body to provide an awareness. But if we apply our attention to what the body's showing us, but in the manner that we have been taught and conditioned to perceive it as, right, which humanity has misinterpreted and misunderstood really what the body is and what symptoms really are and why they are provided, right? Then if that area or that problem governs that person's attention, you are feeding your own energy for that problem to remain there and not go away. Okay. Now, don't feel alarmed or frightened or fearful about this, because we didn't get taught this, right? We can all put our hands up in regards to that. You know, when we went to human school, right, and the curriculum in becoming a human, that wasn't part of it. We didn't know that. Okay. So when we look at your place of attention, this is where it comes to the number 3, is your attention is made up of 3 eyes. Okay. You've got a duality eyes. Why? Because they're a duo to see, right? Which is seeing 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light. So not even close to 1% of what can be seen within this reality. Okay, within there. Not even all that. We're not even incorporating any of that in there. Okay. Right? And generally, a human school, right, the curriculum becoming a human, is we generally follow what we see, right, what we observe. Science, after all, right, is all about observation. Okay. And, that stat, 0.0035% of electromagnetic spectrum of light, is a scientific fact, right? But they are forging their discernment into what they believe based on observation. Okay. Now we've got duality eyes, a duo, right? They are they limit us, as I just explained there. Now the other eye we call the singularity eye. That's why I like to call it, because it's one. Right, so we've got duality eyes and we've got one singularity eye. Now, science calls that the pineal gland. The ancients called it the third eye, right, 1, 2, and then 3. But I really like to call it either our singularity eye or our insight, because it holds more weight in what it really is allowing or providing you. When we look in the word singularity means answer. And as I mentioned before, right, as the human, the way we've been taught and conditioned to be, we follow what we see, right, which is a form of limitation. And then we use a pathway which I call the mind-thought pathway. So we use thinking, thought, to get our head around what we see, which is another form of limitation. And I'll tell you why. It's a form of limitation because through thinking, we rely on what we were taught and conditioned to know or perceive. Okay, which was limited. After all, you didn't learn about how powerful your attention is and how you should use it, right? So this is where we get into trouble, right? And what happens is we're duality dominant. Now, duality existence is what's causing all this conflict and chaos to occur, which is this field that you then don't feel comfortable with it. So if we go into 5G network, we go into EMF, we go into Wi-Fi, we go into all this field that for people that are very energy sensitive, they know it doesn't feel good. It makes you uneasy, which is the word disease. You get diseased in that state because it's not your natural state. Okay, so why are we providing a state that is then not our innate or natural state, right? Now, the reason that is because that's all mind creation, right? And humans at the moment out there are my mind, embodying the mind as theirs. No, that's not. How can it be? It's providing a state that makes you feel uneasy and diseased. So it can't be you. Or the intelligence that the mind is facilitating. That's more accurate. Okay. So we need this I in play to balance out the three I's. Okay. So when you get a duality and you bring a singularity into it, you get neutrality, which is balance. Okay. Now we've got two eyes to see, and then you've got one eye to know. Okay. Now a lot of people in my session will go, how do you explain, the guidance that you get? Because through a session, it's all about feel. There's no thought involved in it, right? Because we'd use that mind thought, which is I'm then just applying a limitation on myself. Why would I do that? Such a thing. So if what we see with these eyes is a limitation, thought is a limitation, we can rely on feel because feel has no limitation applied to it. It's connected to this whole tree. You as an infinite consciousness. Okay? It allows knowing. So that's why I say this doesn't necessarily uses vision, like how we know vision to be with these. It uses feel. And what else uses feel in the body? The heart. These are the two singularities. They are your greatest allies. Okay? And we'll get more to that in a minute in regards to the 6 and the 9. So 3 is your attention, right? 2 eyes to see, 1 eye to know. Okay? So why we call that insight, right? Because the definition of the word insight is to provide a greater understanding and knowing of what something it represents, which is what we're observing and experiencing using the duality eye. So you can see how that these need to be coupled with that knowing. And a majority of humans out there are just using these without that. Okay? Which is unbalanced, which is duality. Duality is an unbalanced state. And then in that unbalanced state, the body adheres to those guidelines and then produces symptoms, which is communication, that is then unbalanced. For example, if somebody's got high blood pressure, because blood pressure is all about flow, and it's a regulator. So if you've got high blood pressure or if you've got really low blood pressure, that is an expression of an unbalanced state. The body's letting you know. But again, you weren't taught to know that, right? You were taught that, I've got a symptom, I need to treat it with a medication or something. But again, that's what you've been taught to perceive it as and therefore taught to treat it as. Okay? Thyroid function or any gland organ that secretes hormones. It's regulating. Okay? So if you're hyperthyroid or hypothyroid, it means that the thyroid is expressing in an unbalanced way, unbalanced state. So what is the remedy to that, as well as your blood pressure? Providing a balanced state. So therefore, that part of your body will then express itself in a balanced manner. Okay, not going to the symptom, resolving the precursor of that symptom, which is an expression of the body. Okay? So that expression, where attention goes, your energy flows. Now there's another expression. What holds your attention holds your power. Right? As I just mentioned before. It's investment of our energy, so whatever holds our attention has our energy, because our energy is being fed to that thing. And this is the first step in the gamma duality, in getting you trapped in the matrix. And the prison with the matrix is to distract your attention, because on a collective level, the intelligence that's narrating the collective of humanity, keeping them locked in the matrix, locked in this lower vibrational state, knows the rules of the game. Created the rules of the game. And it knows that the way how you invest your energy, and that's through attention, your place of attention. Now, learning this vital information from me and reality coaching, ascendance healing sessions, the products, the tools that Truly Holistic make, that I make, then you're stepping up your game. Out of the human at an intelligence level, because everything that's happening here at the human level doesn't originate there. It's at an intelligence level. You need, when you start a board game, you need to know the rules of that game before you play. See life as that, as a game, and you need to know the rules. This is this understanding of knowing and understanding of reality. And I've been at this game for a number of years now, daily. Every moment getting downloads of information to understand, have a greater insight and knowing of reality itself. Okay? So that's 3. 6. Now another thing that everybody will know that we focus on, I've done a lot of posts about this, saying this is the number 1 clearing we have to do in every session for people. And that is to open their heart. Okay? Now, how does this tie into 6? As I mentioned, this and this are your greatest allies. Okay? So where 3 is your place of attention, right? The 3 eyes. 6 is your gateway. Okay? Now, as the human, we see the heart as the heart, right? As this pump. That's how we were taught to see it as, which is, again, just how we perceive it within that 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light. And we label it with a word and we call it heart. Now, my higher consciousness calls it a gateway, which is another word of calling it a portal, wormhole, stargate, or what science would call it, an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Okay? Now, within an Einstein-Rosen bridge or portal or gateway, there's 2 ends to it, and in the middle there's a singularity, right? The heart's a singularity. Okay? Now, how it comes into 6, okay, and I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to question this. Now, the gateway is actually 666, right? And I know a lot of people, again, because of the way we've been taught, is that 666 is the beast number, right? It's to do with the devil, to do with hell. Okay, and I'm going to do another video about that, because these are concepts of religion, right? Heaven and hell, right? Because how would we always put, when somebody passes away, right, and we say, okay, they've gone to heaven, where do generally 99.9% of people feel heaven is? Above their head. And what did I say at the start of this video about this aspect that our origin, our expansion, we believe is above our head, right? From an externalized perspective that was formulated through the curriculum of becoming the human, using a pathway of mind thought to process reality, which is to externalize everything. Okay, this led to believing that we lacked, mentality of lack, feeling that our origins are outside of ourselves, us becoming dependent, addicted to certain things outside of us. It's led to our limitation, our detriment, our destruction. Hasn't been constructive, hasn't helped us. Okay. This is where I teach people, get out of mind thought pathway, get into heart feel pathway. Right? Where we actually connect into our origins because we go within, which is essentially, for people that are new and getting into some things like meditation, right? It's a meditative practice, right? What's that to do? To silence and remove the overwhelming thoughts, the mind. Because why? Because it's the problem. That's what they don't tell you, but I'm going to tell you that. That's the problem. That's the origin of the problem. Because in meditation, what do? We focus on our breath. What's that? Bringing our self-awareness back. Shutting out the distraction of our attention out there and bringing it here, going within. Okay. Which we call surrendering to the heart, because to surrender to the heart is the same as to fall in love. And why is surrender and fall connected with one another? Because we can either perceive, look at the way we perceive reality, our perception of reality, from either here or here. And where does love come from? Here? No. Here. So we need to fall. We need to surrender into the heart. Okay. Now, why is it 666 then, the gateway to here? Because, after all, we are the third reality, right? So 6 is for the first reality, 6, second reality, third reality, 6. And then for reality 4, that would be 6, 4 sixes. Okay, and now this gateway comes through into your expansion, right? And the core of this expansion is your energy signature, which is your soul. And it gets spliced into all these different realities to have experience, to create, to expand your creation, but at the same time convert that experience into wisdom for your collective. Not the collective, your collective. Okay? Because each one of us is this tree. Not this tree for all of us. Each one of us is this tree. Okay? Right? So, the biggest clearing we do in session work is to open someone's heart. Now, why is it the most common? Well, let's look at this. Look at it in this way. Heart disease is the number one killer of humans. Why? Because humans are taught, conditioned in becoming the human to embody a mind-thought pathway instead of a heart feel. So what happens? The heart closes off. Which means you don't get to connect into who you truly are, your authenticity. Now that is purposely done because the intelligence that comes through the mind is not you and doesn't want you to know who you are. Okay? And we then search outside of ourselves, which we call mind orientation, which is connected to the same, a lost soul. Because where is the seat of the soul? The heart. Through the heart. Not here, the heart. Okay. Now, so when I go up here, I'm talking about the mind, and extension is brain, not the pineal. Okay. Not your inside. Okay. Now, and I've got an interesting theory about that too, right? Okay, because the way that science looks at it, right, which is a mind orientation, right? It's a mind creation science. Because it's all out of mind thought and observation. Now, which are all out, which are our limitation, right? It doesn't provide that greater insight that we're looking for. Now, when we lost my way a little bit there. Um, I Science sees that our intelligence is because of the cranial size, right? The size of our brain. But where's that taken humanity? Yes, we're providing technologies that have made life more convenient. But it's made life more complex in a lot of ways too, hasn't it? But this is the big one. All the technologies that we're creating are unsustainable. While we're creating these technologies, we are destroying our natural state, our natural environment at the same time, which is the precursor of how this vessel, while we have an experience in this vessel, which we call the human body, is dependent on that state. Because the state is the precursor in how it will function, behave, and express itself, which we call symptoms. Okay? So it's not smart, it's not intelligent. It's egotistic, yes, because that's what the mind does. It's egotistic. We are creating for that intelligence that is being facilitated through the mind, which we are allowing in. Okay? So when we bring in the word ascension, whose ascension are we providing? If we are using mind thought, we're not providing our own ascension. It's ascension for another intelligence that is facilitated through the mind thought pathway, which we were hoodwinked into embodying as part of becoming the human. Okay? So as it go back to that 666, right? And that whole, again, concept. Heaven up there, hell below us. I believe that was put in place so we wouldn't look where we needed to go. Right? To embody the lie, embody the trap, the hoodwinking. To never question an area that we should be questioning, because no one's questioning the mind that it could be something that is actually detrimental to us. They've got to the level of dividing the mind between conscious mind and subconscious mind. But it's still titled as our mind. It's not your mind. It's something that is you do not need. Right? And the thing is, a lot of people think, okay, if we go in our heart, because they've come from here, it's like a hippie kind of concept. No, it isn't. Not at all. We can create far advanced technology through a heart-field pathway than we can with mind thought, and at the same time provide technology that is in alignment with our innate state, providing our state and things being sustainable, which is a huge issue currently humanity is going through in regards to sustainability. Okay, it all comes down to this. Okay. Now, so 3 is here, our place of attention, right? While we're here, how we invest energy as a creative force, not observer participant, right? That came out of that externalized perspective and perception of reality that the mind thought conditioned you to see it as. You're a creator of reality, okay? That's how you create here. How you facilitate everything that you are as an infinite consciousness through an open heart. So the heart provides everything that you are. Your place of attention then uses all that infinite energy and consciousness to great effect to create a reality that is that reflects your heart's desires, right? The true you, the true authentic you, not the conditioned version of you, which is the human, but the authentic version of you as in soul and infinite consciousness. Okay. Ascension's all about having an open heart, okay, and allowing everything of you, every aspect of you, to be present and represented here. That's what ascension is. Very much like how we look at an aquifer deep under the ground and water levitating from that aquifer to the surface to become a spring. And the key force with that is levitation, levity, not gravity. Science is gravity that. Why? Because levity's consciousness. Gravity is mind and thought. That's why science is so fixated on gravity and keep hitting walls, because we are being hoodwinked towards our limitation instead of our expansion. Okay. Right, so it's 3 and 6. Now let's go to 9. Now 9 is your infinite consciousness. This. Okay. Now your infinite consciousness, as I say, what is that core aspect of that? Your energy signature. It's what makes you unique. Okay. So think about this in the polarity of difference here, right? As the human, you're taught that you are one of a collective we call humanity, right? So it's all about conformity. And then, generally people go to school, you get taught a certain way, and then they come out of school and they're confused more than any, because they don't even know what they want to do. Who am I? Well, what am I here to do? Confused, right? What did we say before? What is the state the mind provides? Chaos and conflict, right? So that's the breeding ground of an internal conflict in that individual. Okay. Now, when you've got an open heart and you connect into this, you know more. You have greater knowing and insight into who you really are and what you actually want. Your role being here, right? Because you don't just bring through the experience and the wisdom of where you are here. You bring the experience of the wisdom of all your variants that live in all these other realities. It's all shared, because this is your true oneness. This is your collective. Not out there, here. Okay. Now, each generation 3, and that's how my consciousness calls it, is a different reality, universe, dimension. Okay. And so that you're made up of multi-realities, multi-dimensions, a multiverse. Right? And of course the ascension map. Now you're in generation 3, right? So you've got 3. So obviously you can see on this map there's no 1 and 2. Now why we don't have it on the map is because they are your lower selves, right? These are your higher selves, even though they're going downwards, right? Which is just showing again our origin is within, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, right? So you're made up of 9 multi-realities, 9 realities, 9 dimensions, 9 universes. Right? So connected to 9. Okay. Pretty cool, right? And so because for a while here at Truly Holistic, we've had this map for a while. We've been able to do it in a little bit, a beautiful presentation, a simple presentation where we also divide it into the elements, right? Earth, air, water, fire, and ether. And that's a vortex, right? That's vortexing, right? So if we had it like that, it'd be like a spiral galaxy, vortex, right? Now, which is also connected to your DNA, because what's DNA, right? It's a helical strands, right? A vortex with information, nucleotides between them. Okay. So your DNA is connected to this. Or, if you're allowing it to, the intelligence that comes through the mind to change your DNA, which is not going to be constructive for you, it's going to be destructive for you. Okay. This is why I do so many posts and so much information about knowing the difference, knowing that consciousness, you as a consciousness, and the mind are not the same. They're complete opposites to each other. And generally, humans are following a mind, using mind orientation. Okay, not heart-centeredness that provides who you truly are. Okay, not what the intelligence of the mind wants you to become, but what you truly are. Okay, so this is the power of 369, right? This is what we work on in session work, reality coaching, the tools. What the tools provide is we're trying to get your expansion 9 to be present and represented here, and it can only be represented here. This is why you need 3, 6, and 9 when the heart's open, right? So 6. And then the next step is creating a reality that are built on characteristics of peace and harmony, not conflict and chaos, which is your attention. You need 3 components, the 3, the 6, the 9. So I hope everybody's really enjoyed this video. Now, if you want to learn more stuff like this is just a little bit, and this is an expansive topic we're talking about today. But if you want to learn more, you want to be invested in the tools that provide the 3, 6, and 9 for your life, right? Because this is why you're here. You're here not as the human, not for the survival of humanity. You're here for your true oneness, your true expansion as a consciousness. Okay? We've been hoodwinked into forgetting that. Okay? I really encourage you to look at the products, the tools that we create, which is on my product store, on my website at trulyholistic.net/products/. And also to book appointments for regular sessions of reality coaching where you get greater insights into interpreting your reality, understanding the role that you have to play here, as well as healing sessions, right? We heal all sorts of health problems, manifestation problems, which all come back to 3, 6, and 9. You can go and book those appointments at trulyholistic.net/appointments/ and you'll see the options there. Please remember to like the video. It really helps with the algorithm, which is an AI technology, sadly, to get our voice out there for more people to hear this. As well as please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content and would like to see more further content. We've got, I think it's 400 plus, probably coming up 500 videos now on my YouTube channel. A lot. And you'll see a lot of growth through the years and what I've been able to provide and facilitate, going from more of a duality based now into neutrality. And it shows the growth, the evolvement, the ascension of myself, but also Truly Holistic, which I'm very proud about because we walk the talk. Until next time.